Hi, so welcome to my channel, Rob Ukulele, and in this special section, which is what I call Why Ukulele, I speak to other fellow ukulele players about why they love the ukulele and their experiences about that. Today I've got my friend with me, Nel Leving. Welcome, Nel. Thank you for joining me on this. And I guess we first met because we were both going to our local ukulele club.
Yes.
And after a few weeks, I know we kind of sat together and we built up this rapport regarding our love for ukulele. But I'd noticed you before then, and when I think back, it was we were playing along to a few tunes and I could hear this very loud noise going on in the room, and somebody was playing the banjolele, and that was you.
Yes.
And so that's where I wanted to start our conversation, really, about banjoleles and your experience of a banjolele. So let's start there. You've got a banjolele here, have you?
Yes, I have. Yeah.
Do you want to bring it on?
Yeah. So here's my current banjolele. This was custom made for me during lockdown by a luthier called Phil Cartwright,
Okay.
who lives near Somewhy and is a well-known modern day banjolele maker.
Yeah.
This is based on a monarch, crown, original monarch 30s banjolele.
Yeah.
But it's the modern edition of it.
And for the benefit of the viewers, can you start to explain to me in the best ways you can, what is the difference between a banjolele and a ukulele?
Quite significant. Mainly that part, which is the resonator. So the idea is that the vellum creates the sound, and the sound comes through the side holes here, as you can see. In this case, they're little crowns because it's called a monarch crown.
Yeah.
But it might be different with the different banjoleles. There could be slots, but there will be some kind of mechanism surrounding the vellum which creates the sound. Or it could be an open back. But in this case, this is a classic banjolele with the vellum on top,
Yeah.
and the sound holes around the back, and
So-
quite a dense.
So what's the same between that and a ukulele?
The fretboard is very much the same.
Yeah.
The fretting is the same. The headstock will be very similar.
Yeah.
But apart from that, the differences really start at the bottom of the fretboard. This is all different to a ukulele.
And still four strings as it
Still
as a
four
ukulele,
strings.
and the tuning is the same.
Well, yes, I've got this tuned to the classic ukulele tuning,
Yeah.
GCA, because I play with the
Okay.
ukulele. But there will be different tune. A group of banjolele players, like for example the George Formby Society,
Yeah.
they would be playing with different tuning to that, usually higher.
Okay. So fairly similar in kind of its structure. Sound obviously very different. So a bit like, I guess, saxophone and clarinet. They look very different, sound quite different, but the fingering positions and the style and so on is all pretty much the same.
Yes.
So I want you to try and answer a question that's been bugging me.
Okay.
So when I was growing up in the kind of late 60s, early 70s, the ukulele wasn't in fashion at that time. Music hall had obviously gone out of fashion. We've got Beatlemania going on. But occasionally on the radio on would come a tune from maybe, say, George Formby.
Yes.
And my mother and father would kind of, join in with the song and talk a little bit about it, or there'd be the odd film on with George Formby.
Yes.
Or on occasion, on a variety show, there was a lady called Tessie O'Shea.
Yes.
And she would come on, she used to go under the moniker Two-Ton Tessie O'Shea
Tessie.
from Tennessee. And she was a great player off the banjolele. But back then, we didn't call it a banjolele. Everyone called it a ukulele.
Right.
And even now, when you mention ukulele, people say, oh, that's George Formby.
Yes.
But George Formby played a banjolele,
Yes. he
not a
did.
ukulele. I just wonder what your thoughts were on that. And had you gone through the same learning curve, I guess, to kind of differentiate these two instruments?
Right. Formby's a good place to start because he was a tremendous exponent of the banjolele and the ukulele,
Yeah.
what you and I would call a traditional wooden double bout
Kind of guitar shape.
guitar-shaped
Yeah.
ukulele, which is where he started.
Right.
And he was a great exponent of that, and that appears in quite a lot of his early 30s films as well.
Right, okay.
But he, like me, was taken with the banjolele sound. The banjolele in those 30s with 10-ton Tessie and Formby,
Yeah.
which is mainly because of its sound, its projection.
I suppose in music hall you needed the volume, didn't you?
Exactly,
Yeah.
in music hall, yeah. And similar in films, they didn't have the amplification
No.
that we would understand today.
Yeah.
So he played both instruments.
Right. Well, I didn't know that. So that's kind of new to me. So that's very interesting. On George Formby, you're a member of the George Formby Society.
Yes.
Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yes, indeed. Well, it's been going since 1963. It's still very vibrant today. They have 3 or 4 conventions every year, usually in Blackpool, but sometimes in other parts of the UK. And then they've got branch networks all over the UK as well, who meet on a monthly basis. And they celebrate and project and continue to play the George Formby sound and songs, of which there are hundreds, really. There's probably 100 popular ones that everybody would have heard of.
Yeah.
And they perpetuate the banjolele sound and the Formby songs.
Right. Okay. And then, I know it's quite vibrant because there's a few people on YouTube. Is it Andy Eastwood?
Yes.
There was another chap I was watching the other day who really goes into George Formby and the types of styles and the keys and the licks that he played. And I was kind of interested because even at our ukulele club, we often end the songs that are kind of started in the 40s and 50s with something called the Formby finish.
Yes.
I wonder if you could maybe show me what play it for me, and
Yes,
then
of course.
maybe explain what the Formby finish is.
Yes, of course. I stumbled across the Formby finish very early in my banjolele career when one of my early mentors was talking to me about how to end songs. So rather than just ending on a straight down C or a G or whatever, they would round the song off or instrumental off with a so-called Formby finish.
Yeah.
And it's a straightforward chord.
Yeah. So are you playing G7 sharp there?
I'm playing G sharp. Yeah. G7 sharp. That's correct. Using my thumb, which is a classic way of playing it.
Yeah.
So basically, instead of ending on a C, it would go. I'll try and play it slowly.
Yeah.
Play it fast.
Yeah, play it fast. Yeah. Right. Okay.
So it's a little way of rounding off the.
Yeah.
And that would be called a classic Formby finish.
Classic Formby finish. I know he'd got 2 or 3 others he used as well.
Yes.
But that's kind of the standard one and probably the simplest entry level one to get involved in. Okay, that's great. And then the other thing is, I understand that to be a member of the George Formby Society, you have to pass some test. Was that meant to be able to play the split or something? Or?
They encourage you to play the.
All right, so it's not a formal test, but it's something they'd really like you to do.
The only thing you need to do to join is pay them £21.
Right.
You remember? Okay. But they encourage Formby-style playing.
Yeah.
And that includes the basic sort of Formby style. Formby was a great exponent of the ukulele and the banjolele.
Yeah.
And he really elevated the instrument to new heights by inventing the split stroke, the triple, and the roll. They would be the 3 things that most modern day players would identify with. There are other techniques that he brought in as well, finger tapping and chord extensions, etc. But those would be the split stroke and the triple. And the roll are the 3 main things that Formby brought to the fore, created and brought to the fore.
Oh, right. I didn't realise you'd also developed them as well. So, do you want to show us one of those?
Yes, of course, yeah.
Which one do you want to show us?
Yeah, I'll show you the split stroke first of all. I found this very difficult to learn when I started playing 6 years ago.
It looks difficult, yeah.
And I tried and I couldn't get it. And then one day, as sometimes happen with these things, there it was.
Yeah.
So I'll try and demonstrate now.
Okay.
So you are literally splitting the stroke. So downstroke, and then you would tip the top string, your top string, and then pick up on the bottom string.
Yeah.
So you end it with a sound like this.
Okay, I was interested that very fast bit you played in the middle there. Was that
was
part
a thumb
of
roll.
That was the thumb roll. Okay.
Sorry, that slipped in. Do you want me to do it again?
Yeah, and play the thumb roll. That was great.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So here we go then. So this will be a typical split stroke with some different strumming technique. You might notice I actually put 2 beats in at one stage, and then a thumb roll as well. So here we go.
Okay, I mean that's great, but you don't normally play that on a standard ukulele. That's more kind of just banjolele kind of territory.
Yes, very much. You can play that on an ordinary ukulele. The action on banjoleles tends to be extremely low to allow you to do that.
Yeah.
On an ordinary ukulele, you would find the split stroke in particular quite a difficult stroke. You would get stuck on the top and on the bottom string.
Yeah, yeah. Because of the closeness to
action.
Oh right, I can see. Yeah, yeah. You're very low down
very
here.
low indeed.
Yeah.
And that's one of the key secrets to it. So you could definitely on an ordinary, as we would understand it, modern ukulele, you could still play that. You'd find it difficult to do it at speed unless you lowered your action.
Yeah. Okay.
And then you could certainly do it.
Okay, excellent, great. Okay, anything else you want to show me on the banjolele before we finish off on that section?
We can do a little intro if you like.
Or a little tune, maybe a Formby tune or whatever.
Well, one of the most popular and requested songs is When I'm Cleaning Windows.
Yeah, which I love. Yeah, I think it's great.
So let's just do just a few bars of that for a start and see if you like that.
Yeah. Excellent, thank you. Formby finished again. Excellent stuff. Well, thank you very much for that, Neil. That's been really, really great.
Good.
So, thank you for that, Neil. But one of the reasons that kicked off the idea for this interview is I got a message from you a couple of months ago by email that say, hey, I've got a new ukulele. And we started chatting about that, and I wanted to talk about it today. So before I tell the viewers, what ukulele is, do you want to pick up that ukulele and show everybody, and then we'll have a chat about it?
Yes, with pleasure. So,
because it's rather a stunning looking ukulele. So I know a little bit about it, but over to you. Do you want to tell me what it is, how you came about it, and then we'll talk a little bit about its details?
Yes, with pleasure. This is called a Chanel.
Yeah.
And it's made by a guy called Toby Chanel, who is a very, very advanced and renowned luthier down in Charminster near Bournemouth.
Yeah.
He is famous and mainly makes double basses.
Yeah.
But for the last 10 years he's started making ukuleles. This one was made by him 6 years ago.
Yeah.
I first met Toby 3 years ago, just after COVID, when I went to look at his workshop, which is an amazing place to visit. It's a little carpenter's haven, really.
Yeah.
Above a garage in Charminster.
Yeah.
Where he works by himself and makes these from scratch.
Right.
On a piece of wood. All this is made fantastically out of reclaimed wood.
Right. Excellent.
He gets given wood and he goes looking for wood. So the spruce and the maple on this is all made from reclaimed material.
Oh, that's brilliant. And this is very much kind of styled on a kind of a jazz guitar, isn't it? Kind of a arch top 40s, 50s guitar style. The look at it with the F holes and so on. Is that something that Tony's kind of got an interest in, or does he just do a lot like this? Is this a style?
Yes, well, because of his violin making and viola making and double bass making, I think that's he's come from this school.
Oh right,
of
okay.
F holes.
Yeah.
He calls these JazzBox ukuleles, for, as you say, for obvious reasons, because there are so much similarities with the 50s original guitars of this kind of shape.
Yeah.
This is bowed as well, and has a radiused fretboard.
Yeah.
So it's just his extrapolation of what he thinks a ukulele should be, and to get the best sound out of it.
And you bought this second hand.
I bought this.
So how did that come about?
Well, I wanted a Chanel. There is a very long waiting list for Chanels.
Yeah.
So I had a search out for a used one. This one, they very, very rarely come up for sale. This one came up. Would you believe, miles and miles away.
Yeah.
Went to see it, loved it. The guy that had bought it had it custom made for him.
Yeah.
He's a guitarist.
Yeah.
And didn't really take to it, so he'd hardly played it, and eventually decided to sell it to me.
Wow.
So I'm delighted that he did.
Wow, that's fantastic. I mean, it's this beautiful looking piece of artistry, really, isn't it? You know, there's so much detail on there. I love the fact that it's got reclaimed wood. My own actual ukulele here is made by another luthier called Tin Guitars, Rob. I think he used to be in Hebden Bridge. He's moved further up north now, and that is also reclaimed wood. That's somebody's old sideboard. Right. So I love that idea because you know you're not chopping down another tree. You're using some of the wood that you've already got to produce an instrument. So it's a fantastic thing to do. And I've not come across Channel before, so I was really interested. I've been to his website now and had a good look at the stuff he does. I can see it's really, really, really great stuff. And these, what retail these days, were 12, 13?
Anything between that and £2,000, I would think. 1,200 to £2,000, depending on how much work you want doing. Everyone is individual.
Yeah.
There's no particular set pattern. Whatever you want or don't want, Toby will make for you.
Okay. So we've talked a lot about it. Shall we have a little listen?
Yes, by all means.
You could play me a little bit on there.
Yeah.
What are you going to play for me?
I've got a low G on this. Let me play you a favourite of mine, Fisherman's Blues.
Yeah, sure.
So we'll have a few bars of that.
Yeah, okay.
Here we
Far
go.
away. Thank you very much for that, Neil. And I noticed you're using a couple of different chord shapes in there, and I know you're very interested in chord shapes and chord inversions, as the technical term is. So do you want to explain maybe a couple that you were doing in there, and then we can maybe talk about any others of your favourites?
Yeah, sure. I've been playing the ukulele now for just over 6 years.
Yeah.
And of course, like all ukulele players, you get a half a dozen chords perhaps together, and you can play hundreds of songs, and it's great fun in a group of people to stroll along.
It is a great level. It is a great entry level, isn't it? Because you get a lot of people, like a lot of people at the club, they didn't start playing until quite late on in life, but they can get on with a ukulele, as I say, 4 or 5 chords in, and they can play a couple of hours worth of tunes together and have a good social evening with that. So it's brilliant for that. But of course, if you want to kind of move further on, then there is that scope, of course, with ukulele. So it's interesting about the chords because it's something I'm very keen on as well. So what different inversions in that particular tune was you using?
Well, for example, instead of just playing C, I would play a C6.
Yeah.
And then maybe extend that further out again to the 5th fret.
Yeah.
My objective really is just to add interest
to a bit
song.
More texture to the sound.
More texture, more interest, more versatility.
Yeah.
When you're playing, as if someone's just doing a C and then you suddenly start adding in chord inversions or chord extensions, it makes a richer sound all round. Even if you're surrounded by 4 or 5 players just doing down strums on C, if somebody starts playing chord inversions, it enriches the sound significantly.
Yeah, it does, certainly.
So then with the G, then I might lift to the G6.
Yeah. Also known as E minor 7. So
also known as E minor.
Yeah. But it's a great chord.
Then with F, you might have noticed I was finger lifting both fingers.
Yeah.
With the A minor, I was adding in
in that top one there. Yeah, which is great. I really like that. And I was watching a video of Cynthia Lynn. She's a very famous player on YouTube, and she was doing Hotel California, but doing the A minor up there. It's a right stretch, but and getting that really high one up there.
Yes.
And she used quite a few of those different inversions on that tune and made it sound totally different.
Yeah.
You know, really took it to another place. So you know, I really like the chord inversions as well. I think they're really great and really interesting. I've noticed you have in the past, though, you've used that C as well, haven't you?
Yes.
That one up there.
So after I've been playing a few years, I wondered what was going up on the dusty end of the fretboard here. So a couple of people at Cheswick Green Ukulele Orchestra, where you and I play, showed me just a couple of simple ways of playing. So you know, you often see me playing a C on the 7th fret, and maybe even extending that as well. And then of course G, F, A minor, which are the chords I was using to play Fisherman's Blues. So during the instrumental sections of Fisherman's Blues, you often see me playing up here. Again, it enriches the sound. It's a challenge. Which I enjoy, and just elevates the overall tone and sound of.
And the one you showed me the other week, I did want to bring up because I first of all said, no, I think you're wrong there, and then realised you were right. That was the B7. So I've always been playing B7 this way, which is fine and it sounds great. But then you've played the more kind of open version of B7, which actually I kind of prefer because it's got the open string on it, which gives it a kind of a more drony sound. And you know, in particular, a couple of tunes I play, you know, I find it fits really well. So thank you for that intro to the B7 world. So again, I really like it. Another one I really like, if you take that B7 shape and take it onto the you know, the 5th, 6th, 7th fret, you get a D with a drone to it, which again, I use that an awful lot as well, because I just think that D sounds great. But it's lower. This one's brighter. And I say more droning. So yeah, chord inversions are fantastic, and there's so many variants that you can use on the ukulele. So that's great. Okay. Anything else to tell me about the Chanel at all, or?
Well, it is so different, really, in the way that because it's bowed, it's got a very high bridge. This stringing here is very different with a classical violin.
How do the strings work underneath there? Do you tie a knot in them to bring them through there?
They're knotted, and I have a tiny little bead just to hold everything in place there. And of course, it's got the finger plate here. So
is there a pickup on this?
Yes, there is. There's an underbridge pickup on it.
So an underbridge pickup. So where's the jack input?
Yes,
it's fitting with the strap.
In the usual place with the.
And have you tried it plugged in?
Yeah, a lot. Yes, a lot.
Okay, that's great. And I noticed that the tuners go the other way rather than sticking out like on my one here.
Yes, they go downwards.
You've kind of got them going in the other way, and you've got the open headstock as well.
Yeah.
So it looks really trendy at the same time. So is this your go-to instrument now? It's just the one.
It has become that. I have a concert as well, a Nui Nui Moonbird concert, which I really like. But I've fallen in love with this. And so if I'm picking up a ukulele now, I tend to pick this one up. I play the others as well. Depends on what song I'm playing. So this has got low G on it, but if I'm doing something with fast strumming on it, I might play the concert with the high G.
Let's talk about low G, because I'm kind of a low G guy as well, and people can be very split on that, can't they? They can be very much traditional. I like the re-entrant style tuning with the high G, because that's the jangly sound, and you certainly wouldn't put a low G on a banjolele, would you? You'd stick with a high G because that's the distinctive sound. So some people want to stick with that with their ukuleles with the high sound, and I understand that, I respect that. I like low G because it allows me, it's more guitar like, so if I want to do riff style songs, like Come Up and See Me I can do that because I've got the low to start with, so it's more in line with a guitar, whereas a high G wouldn't sound right. It'd be great if I could have a button that just switched them.
Yes.
Because I do, you know, I also maintain a ukulele in high G, because I think if I was hard strumming all the time, I'd prefer high G, because it's just better on the strum. It's a better overall sound. I think it's very difficult to define why.
Why?
But for finger picking and riffing, then I'm definitely kind of low G. So I just wondered where you were on that, but it looks like you're the same as me. You're maintaining both.
Yes, it's about sound, isn't it, at the end of the day? So I love the sound that the low G projects in the way that you've just demonstrated. But I also like high G for some songs.
Yeah.
Particularly if you're, as you say, if you're strumming exactly what you just said, if you're strumming quickly.
Yeah.
And the other ukulele I've got has quite a different sound to this. This is a more mellow sound, whereas I found the Inui Nui Moonbird has a more strident sound to it.
Okay, well, talking about that, it's probably a good time to go and look at that, actually. So, Chinel's fantastic, it's a beautiful instrument. I do love it, I'm very jealous. But let's have a talk about your Inui Nui now.
Yeah.
And the one thing that struck me actually about you, Neil, is you're quite unusual in that you play concert size ukuleles. Well, certainly in your standard ones. I think that one's a tenor, isn't it?
Yes, that's a tenor. Yeah.
And you know, most people, certainly, you know, the clubs I've been to, they're soprano or they're tenor. Very few people are in kind of concert size. That's, you know, slightly in between the two. And I wonder what drove you to be a concert size guy. Was there a particular reason, or did it just happen by chance?
Well, there's two key reasons really. When I first started playing the ukulele 6.5 years ago, the first good ukulele I bought happened to be a concert.
Right.
It was a big island, beautiful Koa ukulele, another one I should have kept.
Yeah.
I didn't. And so I played that for quite some time.
Yeah.
During lockdown, I had online Zoom lessons with a couple of very, very good tutors. One of whom was Peter Moss, who also only plays a concert.
Yeah.
And he encouraged me to try a concert. The tenor I was playing had a very, very wide neck.
Yeah.
And I was struggling with some chord formations. And I always felt like I was, because of the width of that particular neck on that canaleta, that I was wearing a pair of, I would draw the analogy with wearing a pair of shoes that were a size too big.
Yeah.
And so Peter encouraged me to try a concert.
Yeah.
When I went back to the concert, I found it just suited me better,
Yeah.
in inverted commas. I enjoyed playing it.
Yeah.
And as soon as I picked up this ukulele, I just realised that it was for me.
Okay.
So it's about personal choice and preferences, really.
Yeah, of course. I mean, like you, when I first went into ukulele world, you know, I'd played guitar all of my life, but when I went to ukulele, you know, the idea of all these different sizes was a bit, you know, I can't work out what the difference is, you know, and I think the first couple I bought cheap on Amazon to try it out, you know, were concerts or sopranos. So I didn't know the difference at that time. So I'm always kind of interested how people kind of come into that. Whereas, you see, I like the really wide necks because of the size of my fingers.
Yes.
I need the room on that. So how did you come to acquire this? Is this new, was it?
No, this is 3 years old now.
Yeah.
And I was looking around for another ukulele to buy with a different sound to it.
Yeah.
And I tried lots of different concert size ukuleles, and kept picking this one up. Mainly because of the sound.
Yeah.
I just really like the sound it makes.
Yeah.
That's what led me to buy this Inui Nui Moonbird concert.
And did you buy that brand new, or did you get that second hand?
No, I bought this brand new.
Okay.
From Southern Ukulele store.
Southern Ukuleles.
Yeah, I had a my side pickup put in it.
Okay.
So even though it is a concert, you can amplify the sound very, very easily, as high as you want, really.
Yeah, well, I mean, the my size kind of the top end, but for those who've thinking about a pickup in their ukulele, you can budget yourself about £200 for a my size.
Yes.
They're very, very expensive. Cheaper alternatives are available, but they are classed as really as the best best ones available for the particular job. So Anui's got a great reputation.
Yes.
I know that they're very popular with southern ukuleles. And I'm just interested how, you're very keen on the sound of that. So let's have maybe a listen. Do you want to play me something on that?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
What are you going to play me?
I'll just do a little ukulele riff.
Okay,
line.
that's great. Thank you very much for that, Neil.
That's a little song called My Ukulele.
Right. Okay. Is that one of yours?
It's a Formby song.
Oh, it's a Formby song.
That I've adapted
Right.
as a little warm-up exercise that I sometimes do.
And I noticed this also has got the kind of bridges I like, which is
Yes.
It's kind of nice
Tide
shape
knot.
on the bridge, and it's got a nice kind of decoration kind of going around here. So
Yes,
it's
quite
kind of
unusual with the cutout here,
the
shape of it.
Yeah, very kind of interesting look, isn't it?
Slightly bigger bottom bout than a standard concert ukulele would have, and I think that helps with the sound projection as well.
Yeah, okay, great. And what tunes are you focusing on at the moment, or any particular tunes you're developing or learning? Because I know often when I meet you, you say, "Oh, I've been working on this particular tune because I've been singing it when I'm walking the dog."
Yeah.
Is there any ones in particular you're looking?
Quite an eclectic mix of sounds, really. Picking up things from our ukulele group we go to together. So some very traditional ukulele songs, but some modern ukulele songs as well.
Yeah.
Yellow, Budapest, with more modern interpretations of some up-to-date singer-songwriters.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with the old traditional stuff, but I enjoy an eclectic mix of the two.
Me too. I like that. I like going back, maybe even a 20 to 30 song and then playing some, Miley Cyrus or whatever, really kind of modern type stuff. So, and in ukulele, of course, you can do that either on your own or as part of an ensemble as well.
Yeah.
And as you know, I'm quite keen on the electro uke, so I do quite a lot on that as well. So it's such a broad church.
Yes.
Really.
Absolutely.
For what you want to do. Absolutely. And you said you'd been playing ukulele for 6.5 years. Were you playing anything before then?
No. Before then, I was a singer or an aspiring singer.
Yeah.
I sang in 2 big choirs.
Yeah.
Which I very much enjoyed.
Yeah.
When I was in my very early teens, I played the piano and the violin.
Yeah.
And I guess it's the classic cliche story. I got to 16 and my pals were saying to me, "Well, never mind going and playing with the county youth orchestra. Come with us. There's beer, there's birds, and there's motorbikes."
Yeah.
And that was very appealing. So I've come back to music later in life, really, with first of all with singing.
Yeah.
And then very attracted towards learning a new instrument when I retired.
Yeah.
And drawn towards the ukulele and all the social side that goes with being in a ukulele group.
I think that's one of the things, really, isn't it? There is quite a social element to that. It's something I enjoy when I go to a ukulele club, is the social element, because there's people of kind of from all various different backgrounds and different playing abilities and styles, but you can all kind of play songs together. I might be playing more complex finger picking patterns where someone's just playing a down up stroke, but that's okay. It's
fine.
That's great. And as someone said, it's difficult to do that on the electric guitar and electric bass guitar, to everyone get together and try and meld like that, because it's just too noisy, it's too cumbersome. The ukulele kind of allows you to do that. So, favourite artists, Neil? I know one of them's the Eagles.
Yes.
So you're very, very keen on Eagles.
Always been a fan of the Eagles.
Yeah.
The sound that they make and the singing as well.
Yeah, singing.
The falsetto singing is something else.
Yeah.
And their big band sound. So it's always been a big fan of the Eagles.
Yeah. Any of us in particular that, apart from George Formby, the Eagles, anything else in particular that you would say is my go-to music?
No, really. I think I have an eclectic, broad enjoyment of music generally. Yeah.
Yeah, excellent. And favourite chord on the ukulele as a closing question?
Favourite chord? I'm going to say G6.
Otherwise known as? E minor 7.
Otherwise known as E minor 7. Such a versatile chord, really.
This is such a versatile chord.
G7. You can extend it easily as well. So I think that would be my simple favourite chord on the ukulele. G7.
That's excellent.
G6. Or E minor 7.
Well, that's fantastic. Well, Neil, it's been brilliant talking to you today about
you.
your ukulele collection, and thank you for welcoming me into your home for that.
Pleasure.
And enjoy the ukulele.
Thank you. And thanks for all your help and support as well.
Thank you very much.